Hey everyone, I'm Cosmic and welcome to the Cloud. I don't normally make videos talking about season news, since, well, I assume you guys also have eyes and ears to watch the trailers, and there are more qualified creators out there if you want specifics. But recently there's been some interesting news and I thought I'd share my thoughts. Now, I was super excited when I saw the N-Parry dualies in the Chill Season trailer. I was even more excited when I saw they had their curling bomb from Splatoon 2. Myself and a lot of other people were really hoping it would return with its inkjet as well. N-Parries were one of the most iconic kits in the first few years of Splatoon 2. Unfortunately, later on, inkjet fell off pretty hard. I always liked the idea of this kit, but by the end, jet just felt too weak to be worth using. But now would be the perfect time to bring it back. Inkjet received some major buffs from Splatoon 2 to 3 and is much more consistent and fun to use. With the full arsenal of Squid Roll, Doodly Dodge Roll, Curling Bomb, and Inkjet, this would turn out to be a super fun, super mobile, perfect aggressive weapon. I was genuinely pretty confident that it was going to happen. Oh hey, here's the tweet, what did it get? Splashdown? No, don't get me wrong, this is a brand new super-powered triple splashdown, and yeah, it looks pretty cool and fun to use, but I kind of have mixed feelings about this. Because, is another special really what we need for the game right now? I know a good chunk of development time and resources are currently going toward the creation of Side Order, and I obviously want that to be the case, but Splatoon's multiplayer still feels a little lacking in a couple departments. I would personally much rather than put time into developing a new ranked mode, new challenges, or even new Salmon Run content than another new special. I will say I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to Splatoon content. I think a few repeat items in the catalog are fine, and I don't really have an issue with the rate at which they've been rolling out new weapon kits. It can definitely feel a little slow at times, but this game does have more content than Splatoon 2, and I don't really think it's a problem as long as all of the kits get in the game eventually. What would be a problem is if they actually ended content updates at Sizzle Season next year, which is currently the plan they've laid out. I am pretty confident that they will extend this development timeline, as the past two Splatoon games received content updates beyond their originally projected schedules that added tons of third kits for weapons. But there are a lot of weapons in this game, and now there's a lot of specials. With the inclusion of Triple Splashdown, there are now 19. Compared to Splatoon 2's 11 and Splatoon 1's measly 7, that's kind of an insane number. The question I'm asking is, does more specials equal better game? In a lot of ways, no. It will, in theory, add more variety to the available playstyles, and on a purely casual level, it's always nice to have more options. But at some point, I just wish they'd add the existing specials to the existing weapons. The more of each they add, the less likely it is that anyone will get their dream special sub combination. It also becomes more difficult to balance these specials. A lot of people have referred to Reef Slider as a rework of Splashdown, as they serve a similar role and a pretty similar function. But now we have a literal Splashdown rework, and at first glance it just seems better? This is kind of awkward because there are like 12 Reef Slider weapons who just have what seems to be an objectively worse version of this special. Obviously both of them can be buffed and nerfed, but this begs the question, couldn't they have just buffed Reef Slider? I hate to complain about new content, and I'm not entirely against this inclusion. Obviously I just really wanted Inkjet Dualies, so I'm a little disappointed. But hey, Triple Splashdown is interesting. The reason Splashdown was considered one of the worst specials in Splatoon 2 is because players got really good at shooting it down. You had basically no invincibility, and you had to get right next to an opponent to really do anything meaningful, so it just ended up being too vulnerable with not enough payoff. Prochara recently made a really good video comparing Splashdown to Reef Slider, showing how, even though both of them kinda suck, at least with Reef Slider you die after you explode, so you're guaranteed to get some value as long as you survive the startup. With Splashdown, you would often die before you even hit the floor, so you would accomplish literally nothing except killing yourself. And I guess the way they chose to address this is copy and pasting the special 2 more times. It looks like you jump into the air and smash down like normal, but now you're accompanied by 2 fists doing the same thing. I think the idea here is that the enemy will be confused or overwhelmed and not be able to confidently shoot down the Splashdown user. Plus, the explosion radius is massive, so it's a lot more likely other players will actually get hit. Now, I don't think people are really going to be fooled by these clone splashdowns, but I do think this change will increase the special's survivability pretty significantly, simply because enemies will be more likely to back up out of the special's radius rather than shooting you down. And what's really interesting is that the other splashdowns will still land even if you die. Like Reef Slider, you will pretty much always get some value out of this special. And that's cool, but it does make this a bit of a panic button, which I'm not sure is great for the game's balance. It's not as bad as Splatoon's instant invincibility ability specials, but even assuming you can shoot down the other splashdowns, I doubt one person will be able to take out all 3 before they land. You're pretty much guaranteed at least 1 or 2 explosions just for clicking the right stick, which feels a little too easy if I'm being honest. I don't think it'll be broken or anything. It's not like a splashdown on any random part of the map is that impactful, but it might get a little annoying. I'm personally super curious to see how it interacts with ledges. Assuming the fists spawn in at a fixed distance in front of you, you might be able to kinda ledge poke with this, activating it right in front of an enemy's plat while landing safely in front of it yourself. Basically a less reactable but destructible triple link strike. Similarly, I wonder if using it on top of a ledge or snipe will send the splashdowns to the floor without you. I think this would actually add some really interesting depth to the special, and I hope that it's a thing. Lastly, it's worth mentioning that yes, you can splash down out of a super jump. This has always been cool. It was one of the most satisfying special plays you could pull off in Splatoon 2, and I'm honestly pretty happy to have it back in this game. So do the positives outweigh the negatives? I mean, a new special is always exciting. It does seem like they've taken a look at the issues Splashdown had in Splatoon 2 and tried to address them. Ultimately, this isn't my dream kit, but that doesn't mean it isn't one I could grow to really enjoy. For now, I'm trying to stay optimistic, but what do you guys think? Is this a weird late inclusion that will skew the game's balance, or just something that's cool and fun and exciting? Let me know. Also, wait, what do you mean the entire zone moves across mid on Bluefin? That's seriously how they chose to deal with the asymmetry problem? I mean, that's cool, I think? Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Cosmic. Farewell.